Tesla's 2022 second quarter earnings have taken a huge hit after China once again records a massive surge in COVID cases. The company reported an adjusted income of $2.6 billion, down by a significant $1.1 billion from the first quarter earnings. And even though earnings are much better than originally forecasted, total revenue has failed to meet expectations. Keep watching as we give you the latest updates on Tesla's alarming situation. First up, problem after problem. It seems like Elon Musk can't catch a break these days. First, he got himself into a serious controversy after claiming he was pulling out of the whole Twitter deal, and then the crypto world pushed him around after he sold 75% of the company's Bitcoin holdings. Now he's found himself in a completely new situation, with his company revenue falling by a whopping 10% in the second quarter of 2022. The majority of Tesla's production came out of China, and unfortunately, the Chinese have been going through some issues of their own. Most of the country is under a strict lockdown as COVID has once again resurfaced. In fact, it's got so out of hand that production has to be halted at Tesla's Shanghai car plant. And you know what really sucks in all of this? China also happens to be the biggest market for cars. So not only did production take a hit, but sales also went crashing through the floor after nationwide mandatory lockdowns. You're probably wondering though, doesn't this guy have factories all over the world? So what if a single factory shuts down? What about the factories in Texas and Germany? Well, believe it or not, most of the parts used to manufacture Tesla's electric vehicles come from China. So there could be factories literally anywhere in the world, and they won't be able to produce as much since China is locked down. And even though Elon was clever enough to keep multiple vendors, you just can't beat Chinese manufacturing. Elon himself called the factories in Texas and Germany gigantic money furnaces, since the two plants could only produce a puny output of cars. The company is still really bullish on these two plants though, and it doesn't plan to shut them down anytime soon either. Like, why would you even want to shut down a plant that produced more than 1,000 cars in a single week? Yep, we're talking about the German manufacturing plant, which reached a unique milestone for producing 1,000 cars in a single week. That's almost 6 cars per hour, considering the factory runs 24 hours a day for 7 days. Next, the richest man in the world needed some cash. There's this weird misconception out there that the richest people in the world have all their wealth in cash. Like, if someone's worth $1 billion, it doesn't mean they have $1 billion in the bank. So even if Elon is the richest man in the world, he doesn't always have cash lying around or something. Tesla actually sold 75% of its Bitcoin holdings because the company needed cash, and they sold it despite the market being down considerably from the peak earlier this year. So in that $2.6 billion second quarter revenue, take away at least $930 million, since that's what the Bitcoin transaction brought in. Tesla added the sale of these Bitcoins to the balance sheet, which did increase the revenue by a lot, but still, at the end of the day, they were company assets. The company originally invested $1.5 billion in Bitcoin to diversify their holdings, but the fact that they sold in a bear market doesn't really make sense. Tesla claims they made a profit on the transaction, but we find that hard to believe considering Bitcoin is trading below $25,000 right now. Anyway, Elon quickly cleared things up, claiming it's what the company needed. The situation will probably get worse before getting better because China is pretty strict when it comes to lockdowns. So that's why Elon sold 75% of the Bitcoin earnings to make sure the company has a little extra cash in case things go south. We're not sure what's more south from here, but we think it's a good move since there's a lot of uncertainty in Shanghai right now. And after he got a lot of criticism from the crypto community for dumping so much Bitcoin in a bear market, he tried to make things better by telling everyone Tesla still hasn't sold its Dogecoin holdings. It sure seems like Elon has himself caught up in a lot of endeavors. Let's talk about a potential breakthrough. Despite going through a hellish second quarter, Elon still thinks that Tesla will probably have a breakthrough third quarter. He believes this was one of Tesla's strongest quarters yet. And no, it wasn't the strongest in terms of revenue or something. It was actually the strongest because, despite all the challenges, Tesla still managed to close on a really strong figure. The tech CEO talked about how Tesla plans to continue growing global sales by at least 50% each year. And whilst that may sound like a really hard task, it's actually quite possible. There are literally so many regions and countries Tesla is yet to enter. So as time passes, the company will continue to conquer new regions and remain the biggest electric car company in the entire world. Oh, and all that news you're hearing about Tesla losing its spot as the biggest electric car company is fake. Up next, $460 million charge. We found our way back to the 75% Bitcoin holdings. We told you there was just something that didn't make sense. How could Tesla have made a profit on Bitcoins if it bought them in the $30,000 region and sold them in the $20,000 region? And we weren't the only ones stressing out about this. Brian Johnson, a Barclays analyst, issued a note stating Tesla might have to take an impairment charge of $460 million. Yikes. So apparently there's this rule for digital assets that says if the price of an asset falls during the quarter, a company needs to take an impairment charge. And if it increases, it's only reported as a gain if sold. So Tesla hasn't sold it at a higher price, so it really can't be counted as a gain, right? And they haven't taken an impairment charge either because it fell from its original buying price during the quarter. Make sense? Anyway, even though the figure seems huge, it only comes out to about 40 cents per share. But that's not even the main problem. The main problem here is that Tesla needs to connect the dots for investors and analysts because it's left out information. Like, how can the CFO say they made a profit from selling Bitcoin in the 20s after having bought it in the 30s? But he changed his mind. The troubles continue for Elon Musk as Twitter is taking him to court for $1 billion for pulling out of the deal at the very last second. Elon raised concerns that the social media platform reported that its monthly daily users had risen to 237 million, but Twitter still reported a net loss of $270 million. That's also what made him change his mind in the first place, but that didn't sit well with Twitter at all. They're claiming they spent up to $33 million to get everything in order so Elon Musk could smoothly take over the platform. We're guessing that the tech genius has realized that this isn't really a good time to buy out the platform since its share price has fallen by a massive 45% in the last 12 months. And it's not just about the money. Twitter CEO claims Musk has literally torn up the company because employees, the board, and managers are all caught in the middle of the move. Finally, a motivation to exercise. Let's end with some fun. Elon Musk literally broke the internet a couple of days ago after a picture of him chilling shirtless on a beach was uploaded to Twitter. Now, we're not one to make any judgment about how he looks. All we hope is that he's healthy and well. But you know the internet, they've been absolutely ruthless, saying things like how the rest of Elon's body is a suit being controlled by a robot. Some Twitter users even made a drawing of the tiny humanistic robot controlling Elon with a remote whilst sitting inside his torso. But Elon Musk is known for his exceptional troll handling abilities. He's told everyone on the internet that running so many companies isn't an easy thing. Still, if anything, the picture is motivation to exercise, since this is pretty much the first time he's seen himself without a shirt in a picture after so long. Let the man have a good time. All he wants to do is have a nice drink and spend some time away from business. That's it from our side, folks. So what do you think? Will Tesla be able to break all its records in the third quarter of 2022? And will the Shanghai factory reopen anytime soon? Let us know in the comments below. Remember, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting and informative videos in the future. Thanks for watching and see you next time.